All right, guys, welcome back. I want to work through 27, 28, 29, and 30 with you guys because I think it's an awesome way to maybe help connect some of the dots that we're seeing with our math problems. So we're going to draw diagrams that illustrate the following statements. We're going to include the appropriate mathematical symbols and markings. For example, if it's a right angle, we're going to draw a box in the corner. Okay, so our first one says that AC bisects GH. Okay? Line AC bisects segment GH. So let's draw segment GH first. Okay, well, that is not a very straight line, is it? So let's draw segment GH first. Okay, so there's old G, and there's H. Okay, and it says that that line is going to bisect, which means cuts in half. It's going to bisect our angle. So at any point, I'm going to draw my line. So there it is. Notice the difference between a line. The notation for a line is a complete ray at the top, an arrow at the top, and a segment gets no arrows. So we've got AC is bisecting GH. Okay, so the question is, because this is bisecting it, it's cutting it in half, what can we assume? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop just a fun little letter in here. We're going to say it's going to bisect it at T. So because it is bisecting GH, bisecting means cut in half, it is creating a perfectly congruent segment. This is creating two separate segments. So I know, because of that, I know that GT, is congruent to TH. So because it was bisected, it cuts it in half perfectly. We know that is a definition of our segment bisector. All right, number 28, our next one says that angle ABC and angle CBX form a linear pair. Well, in order to have a linear pair, you need a line. So I'm going to start off by drawing a line. I'm not quite sure where all my angles go first, so let's just start with our line. And then let's cut that line with a transversal. So bingo bongo, there's a little ray going in opposite direction. And it's telling me that angle A, B, C, and angle C, B, X form a linear pair. So because they form a linear pair, we can make the following statement. We know that the measure of ABC plus the measure of, CBX is 180. We can't make any assumptions about the actual value of our graph. All we know for sure is that the two of them are supplementary. Okay, the next one, A is the midpoint of MN. Okay, so I've got another little segment here, segment MN. So there it is. And then it says that A is the midpoint, which we know is right in the middle. That was not a very good job in the middle, was it, guys? Okay, so there. A is in the middle. Man, that's a good looking segment. So it's, again, that's going to create two congruent segments. And because A is the midpoint, we know MA is congruent to AN. Our last one, this is something you guys should be able to recognize from our studies the previous week. Okay, N, M are cut by a transversal. So I've got two lines. I've got M and N. There's N. There's M. Okay, those are my two lines, and they're parallel, and they are cut by a transversal. So remember, a transversal intersects my lines, and I just stay consistent with what you guys have seen. And then it says we're going to label the angles we create 1 through 8. Again, this is nothing new. This is something you guys have been doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shout out to the cheerleading staff for getting that stuck in my head when I leave sometimes. All right, so what can we make about our diagram about corresponding angles? Well, we've got 4 pairs of corresponding angles in our diagram. Okay? We know 1 is congruent to 5 because they're corresponding. 3 is congruent to 7 because they're corresponding. 2 is congruent to 6 because they're corresponding. And finally, 4 is congruent to 8 because they are corresponding. Okay, so remember guys, that will not show up on your quiz today. Neither will what does the vertical angle theorem state, what does the ulterior angles theorem state, what does it mean to be consecutive same side angles. Okay, you will have some vocabulary at the front, like this kind of at the start. You're going to tell me if you can or cannot assume something. You're going to work through our math here with our sorry guys, lost my train of thought. You're going to work through our parallel lines cut by a transversal, being able to identify that not only the map that goes with it, but the relationships themselves, and if they're supplementary or congruent. And then I need you guys to be able to identify conditional statements. They're converse, they're inverse, they're contrapositive, and they're biconditional. So guys, I go in tomorrow. They said they need 27 jurors. I think it's a 12-person panel. If I do not get selected, I will see your bright and shiny faces on Friday. And if I do get selected, I will see you guys on Monday. I miss you guys. Know that I want to be there. I'm not trying to torture you from afar. Have a wonderful day, and go Paladins.